Well, hello everyone, welcome back to the AlexCloud2275 stream. Hope you're all doing well this fine day. I'm doing good, just ready and raring to bring you another rousing episode of Alan Wake 2. For my gaming pleasure and your viewing pleasure, I ask that you do any likes, follows, comments, or subscribes that you might wish or want to do on this episode or any future episodes. And again, check out my live streams that release on, my VODs of my live streams that release on Tuesdays, Thursdays, Saturdays, and Sundays, being Claire Obscure Expedition 33 on the Sunday, Tuesday being Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth, Final Fantasy 16, Thursday being Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth, and Saturday being One Piece World Seeker. And then just check out my Twitch, AlexCloud2275. That's me on all major social media platforms as well. And yeah, if you're interested, go for it. If not, that's fine. I'm having some decaf coffee, playing late into the day because I haven't got work, and I'm also waiting for my laptop to return to me repaired. And we'll see what happens. So for now, we're just going to jump into it, and we're going to check out the rental cabins and see if we can't find ourselves more lunchboxes, or the lunchboxes that are here. And yeah, we'll go for it. Alright, so we got 2 of those. We're alright for ammo, in a sense. I need to go underneath. Let's go, get the bolt cutters on. Open this up. Ah, so they do have their own little thing. Day 1, some weird animal tried to break into a clubhouse. It was scary. Max hit it off with a big stick and it ran away. I think it was a squirrel before. A candy stash has gone missing. Maybe it was the squirrel. Max found the candy wrappers in the woods. There was some big poops there. It wasn't the squirrel. Max had gone missing. Beware the wicked witch. One person is the wicked witch. Everyone else has to run and hide. When the witch says, beware of me, everybody has to change places. If you go to someone else's hiding place, you can tag them and kill them. Don't get tagged and killed. If the wicked witch finds you, you're dead. If you find the witch's lair, she's caught. Burn the witch. Mm-hmm. So. We never found that lunchbox, did we? We were pretty thorough. And we did have that bangle on, so it should have revealed it. Mm-hmm. Decision notice.
Another one of those cult boxes.
Animals stayed away from the water's edge as if to avoid some unseen submerged predator waiting just below the dark surface. They never drank the water from the lake. Birds flew around it, never over. Darkness flowed from Cauldron Lake. Gaze in the black mirror of the lake, you'd see it all around you, and you'd understand. It was already out, already where you were. It was already too late. Cauldron Lake used to be alive with people. Beautiful forests, hiking trails leading to stunning vistas. Then the government put up a fence, kept the people out. Volcanic gas, they said. They didn't want anyone knowing the truth. The lake wasn't a lake at all. The dark water a mask to hide the hungry, bottomless ocean below. A fence couldn't stop the flood that was coming. Nothing could. The return of the nightmare rising from the depths.
Oh damn. How grim. Okay.
Must be locked from the other side. More of those kids' lunchboxes.
His hair was longer than I remembered, blowing gently in the cool night breeze. I put my hands on his cheek to confirm that he was indeed real. And he was real. Feeling his handsome beard, wild and neatly trimmed, beneath my fingers prove it. Your breath. I breathed. Yes, I'm back. I wasn't cold any longer.
Another rhyme.
Birds watching you like that movie, but protective, not attacking. Mythical inspiration, guardian spirits, North mythology or ancient Egyptian. Corvus Corvax from the family Corvidia. Research symbols used. Elements stalking monsters, watchful birds. Stakes can't be too high for both risk management, fruitful outcomes. Make sure the rhyming is looser this time. Need to test this approach, possibly more ambiguous interpretation of results. Okay. Alright, cool. We got weapon upgrades. Yeah, let's go for feedback loop.
Saga fired the rifle. Hit the taken again. Pulled back the bolt to reload. She fired again. Another hit. Faster. Again. Yet faster. Again. A strange, lethal feedback loop forming. Speeding up.
Cool. What are we going to check out? Yes, cases. Another piece of fan fiction. Whoever was writing these is obviously having a good time. About the nursery rhyme and the contents. Seems to be left by an author of the rhymes, workshopping the style. Our hero, courageous and true, stalked by the munching, hatching through. The clever clothes call their warming, keep an eye on the battle forming. When the fight is done and over, the hero and crows reap the rewards left for her. Okay.
That's it.
Oof, messed up his face.
Witchfinder's Station. I've been there before. Worth checking out.
Warning, property of the Federal Bureau of Control, Department of Parafictional Research. Lead researcher Dr. Campbell. Keep this container locked at all times. This test item within is to be kept separate from the others, as well as a safe distance from the main testing facility, Witchfinder Station. Father doll. I'll find you.
And another charm.
Okay. Witchfinder
What if I
Station.
take the weird doll to the place it's not supposed to go? What's the worst that can happen?
File says not to bring the doll to Witchfinder Station in Cauldron Lake. Must admit, I am a little curious. The Federal Bureau of Control has designated this area to be vacated as a matter of public health and safety. Failure to comply with this order is a federal crime and will result in a swift and forceful action per code 0157DE. Your compliance is appreciated. Cauldron Lake closed. The majority of the scenic beloved Cauldron Lake has been fenced off and is restricted as a government agency takes over. Tuesday, the unthinkable happened. Over the weekend, a local tourist destination, beloved fishing spot Cauldron Lake, was cordoned off by government officials, citing disturbances in their area. The Federal Bureau of Control has limited access for the foreseeable future. When asked about the effects of the closure it will have on the region's tourist destination, the FBC spokesman expressed profound regret on the impact that this may have on the or may not have on the local economy. This comes as a shock to locals who have enjoyed the camping and fishing access around the lake for generations. When interviewing residents around the town to get a feel of the reception, it was clear tensions were running high. "This is an absolute outrage," said Kathy Walther, a lifelong Bright Falls resident and volcanologist. "There's been no documented volcanic activity in this region for a millennia. The only seismic activity going on here is when the Kolskers take their 4x4s on a joyride on the hiking path." "I just bought a season camp pass," said Ed Endella, Watery Navy. "I sure hope these feds reimburse me my $350. I'm not holding a breath." In addition to the inconvenience and anger the locals are feeling, there's a concern that this just means for the future. Joe and Cindy put all their life savings into a convenience store for the campground. What happens to them? What happens to all the businesses around here that rely on out-of-towners? People are scared and they want answers. Is your email hacker-proof? To too many people, hackers are the stuff of Hollywood movies and TV shows. Dark criminals committing cybercrimes in action movies. But to many people around the world, hackers are a very real threat. Cybercrime experts warn that phishing attempts are on the rise and show little sign of stopping. What is phishing, you may be asking yourself? Phishing is when someone poses as a fake email address in order to trick the recipient into sharing their personal information which could be used to access bank accounts or other personal databases. Even the most professional-looking emails or text messages can be faked. Expert warns, so people are encouraged to always act with caution when sharing information on the net. All it takes is one mistake, and your information could be out there forever. Bright Falls Bonanza Book Raffle. Anyone looking for a gift for the reader in their life would do well to visit Bright Falls Bookstore this weekend. In an effort to clear out the stock room, Bright Falls Bookstore is raffling off hundreds of old books and collections, including many signed books and items considered collector's editions. All the proceeds will go to renovating the bookstore and charitable donations to student legacy programs. Ticket for the raffle will be on sale at 9 a.m. on Saturday until 6 p.m. the following day. The draw taking place Monday morning.
Hate to see them like this.
Okay. Rude. Two. Okay, this one was actually pretty fun, much better than the math tests. Okay. That's what I want. Caseboard. Cold stashes. It was just sitting in a random bathroom. Pretty random. Found all the gold stashes in the Cauldron Lake area. Okay. Oh, wait, there's still nursery rhymes. Father doll used to solve the rhyme puzzle.
They're actually kind of cute the longer you look at them.
Right. The glasses are a nice touch. There were 15 dolls scattered all around the area. Rhyme found at the Cauldron Lake rental cabin. In the rhyme, the hero was aided by two crows and they shared the reward together. Okay. Let's go for a quick save. And then we need to find more lunchboxes. Is it the witch's hut or the witchfinder's? It's the witchfinder's station, isn't it, that we need to go to? Yeah, witchfinder's station. Okay. Then what? Okay, actually. Let's go down those doors. Rampage at the rental cabins. An unidentified man attacks vacationers the dead of night. Sunday was an idyllic evening. Barbecuing and late night fishing was violently interrupted Saturday as a mysterious assailant attacked park visitors, causing destruction at the cabins. The incident left 3 people injured, one of which was admitted to the county hospital. As whether the attackers are still at large. I think we read this at the start. Yeah, okay. Yeah, we totally read that at the start. Okay. Fair enough. There is a lunchbox there. And I knew there was going to be a lunchbox on that side there too.
And another lunchbox.
My dad used to say when the going gets tough, the tough get going. Not sure where the tough get going to, but maybe you'll find it inspiring. Okay. So I need to go towards the general store and take a left.
There's another lunchbox.
Remember, it's just a bad day, not a bad life. If you're having a good day, ignore this whole thing. Okay. You know, I kind of needed to hear this. Thanks, Lunchbox Rider. The writer of the note is leaving them to inspire someone? Are they really for me? Alright, one more. And then there's still the one in Watery, which I need to find. Alright, they're not here anymore. That's good, I suppose. I'm walking down the wrong path. Now it's the left path. Alright.
The forest was not safe. Never, ever.
Alright, that's a Casey's lunchbox we already got. Yeah, I'll take some shotgun shells.
Another one of those lunch boxes.
Obviously you're going to succeed or else you wouldn't be the hero. Duh. found all the lunchboxes hidden around Cauldron Lake. Yeah, it's literally just watery that we need to find. A motivational note was inside. Is someone looking out for me?
In one fluid motion, Saga cracked open the shotgun, sending the empty hulls flying over her shoulder, and slammed the new shells in faster than she had imagined possible.
Okay. Okay, Nursery Rhymes working title. I've received your favourable review of my project proposal, thank you. I do not need to remind you that my academic as well as recreational expertise in mythology, folklore, lend needed credibility to the project, both in leading it and creating the testing material. Dr. Moment. Here's the promised update on the project's first experimentation. The test items used were plastic animals, teddy bears, baby dolls. Chronic navigation test was hypothesized to be beneficial for these research purposes. Test result negative. I'll continue testing with more advanced scenarios. No response from you is necessary. Okay.
The FBC is definitely playing with things they don't fully understand. And that always goes well.
FPC created nursery rhymes, researched to see if the nursery rhymes have the power to affect the future. Weird. Okay. Glasses are a nice touch. Monster with blonde hair. Okay.
told her not to stand out in the light too bright, while the loving mother and her hatchlings only tried to survive. When a tricky witch opened a way into the dark lake, our hero, against all caution, did a bold step take, away from the sun which would make her blind to all that she could see.
I'm not getting it.
The faraway father still kept an eye, and told her not to stand out in the light too bright, while the loving mother and her hatchlings only tried to survive. When a tricky witch opened a way into the dark lake, our hero, against all caution, step take, away from the sun which would make her blind to all that she could see. On our hero, the faraway father still kept an eye, and told her not to stand out in the light too bright, while the loving mother and her hatchlings only tried to survive. When a tricky witch opened a way into the dark lake, our hero, against all caution, did a bold step take, away from the sun which would make her blind to all that she could see. On our hero, the faraway father still kept an eye, and told her not to stand out in the light too bright, while the loving mother and her hatchlings only tried to survive. When a tricky witch opened a way... Hello? Can you hear me?
What the? Who is this? How do you know I'm here?
I've been monitoring your incessant tampering with my project. You have made some advantageous progress, however.
What project?
What project? So you've just been playing around with my test arrangements with absolutely no understanding of their function. The hubris.
Indeed.
But your interference with my research has come to its conclusion, and I'm interested to see the results. The trick, I believe, is in the manifestation of the nursery rhymes. Art becoming reality, the doorway being revealed, and or perhaps even someone entering it.
Get to the point.
Meddlesome and rude, I see. The point is that by your unwanted actions, you may have opened the way. And now I'll get to observe what exactly occurs when a subject crosses the threshold. No. Wait, that's not right. What is that? Do you see...
What? Hello? Hey, are you there? Sounds like this person got more than they bargained for. Ugh, this stuff again. There's something else in there, too. This will be handy.
Oh, didn't need to do that to me. Dr. Campbell thought the experiment would send me to the dark place.
There's a lesson here. Probably something about hubris.
FBI researcher tried to send me to the dark place. He sent himself instead. Karma. Ryan found inside the Cauldron Lake cabin. Found all the nursery rhymes in Cauldron Lake area. Case closed.
Man in lab coat messes around and finds out. Called it.
Okay. Still got a lunchbox to find. Wait, do we? No, we don't. We've got a lunchbox to find in the watery area. Everything else here is done. Alright, cool. Let's head back to the car. Alright. Yep, through the murder zone. Around and up. just double check I am right in that thinking. Yeah, cauldron light lunchboxes are done. It's just that one in watery that I couldn't find. Guess we're going back to watery. Now, think. Where didn't I look? I mean, true, I didn't check the front of Coffee World. And then I also haven't checked, like, this corner here.
I wonder how many people talk to their boats.
Too many? Not enough? It's right here.
Another Alex Casey lunchbox?
You can do anything you put your mind to, hero. So, as long as you want to put your mind to, it's part of the story.
Rose did all this for me. She completely believes that I am the hero in Wake's story. She should be a bit more critical of a person who tries to control people's lives.
Okay. Another mention of the story. Whoever this is seems to be aware of Alan Wake's horror story. Found out all the lunchboxes hidden around watering. Okay. The story. Right, the rest of that's for later. Okay. Now let's get back to Bright Falls. Manuscript page. By the car? Maybe later for that one. We'll go through the alleyway, but stop before we reach the sheriff's station, and then get ready to do Alan's side of things. Alright. Alright. Oh, we didn't want a quick save, we actually wanted to manual save this one. Damn. Alright, well guys, thanks very much for watching. Do any likes, follows, comments, subscribes that you might wish you want to do. I'm going to take a break, check the time, and then decide whether it's worth being back with you or not.